Welcome to the CBCC Voice Business Unbox podcast. I am your host, Karma Jamanas, and Wally from the Canterbury Bankstown Chamber of Commerce. Wally, who do we have today?
Welcome everyone to our podcast. Today we are joined by Jessica Mudditt, an author, journalist, and the founder of Hembury Books, a publishing platform that helps people turn their stories into books. Jessica has written for global publications including Forbes, BBC, and CNN, and has spent many years working as an international journalist. Through her own writing and her own work with aspiring authors, Jessica believes everyone has a story worth telling. Jessica, welcome on board.
Thanks, Wally.
Welcome.
This podcast is basically to put a spotlight on your amazing work. And I love when you reach out to the chamber to come and introduce yourself. First, you're based in Bankstown, which we're very proud to see authors and people who are making, helping to create amazing stories based in Bankstown as well. I'd love to continue. Obviously, we'd love to continue working with you. But today is one example about how can we put a spotlight on your opportunities and the potentials and the wow factor that you bring to the table. So tell us more about yourself, please.
Sure. So I lived overseas for 7 years and then came back to Australia 10 years ago, worked as a journalist, and I have always loved books the most. And I always wanted to work with books. I thought either writing myself or being a ghostwriter. But after the experience of self-publishing my books and then sort of being part of the author community, but realising how many writers would love to publish their books but can't because there's barriers to publishing. And I thought I could do this as a business. And I always wanted to start a business. So I had this kind of epiphany when my dad died. It was the very next day. And I was still trying to file an article for Forbes, and I was having certain frustrations, like with the tenuous nature of the freelance income that you have. And I thought, I want to start a business. And I just, in that moment, realizing how short your life is, like with having just lost my dad, I was like, what am I waiting for? Because my life is going to pass by too. So I named the business after my dad's business.
So that was the trigger.
That was the trigger. That was the epiphany I had. Yeah. And then I just got a website built and didn't look back. Step by step, slowly.
The first thing is you took the step.
That was the decision.
Yeah,
in that
you
moment.
make a decision and then the courage and then the confidence comes after.
Yes, long after.
So you began your career as a journalist and author before founding Hembury Books. What inspired you to move from writing and reporting into helping other authors publish their work?
Yeah, it was a number of things. I've always loved that books, you stay with the person for longer. You spend like 6 to 9 hours of time with them. Whereas with an article, you interview someone, perhaps like this, and you might never see them again.
Yeah.
And you end up with so much great material that just there's not space for it in the article.
Okay.
So I also, because I'm a single parent, I wanted to have a business where I was in control of course it's hard, but when you're a freelancer, you're dependent on getting a yes for the editor. You've got to pitch your article ideas. And if they don't agree, you don't have an income. And as a single parent, I never knew 2 to 3 weeks what was ahead of me, just by the nature of journalism. And that was not cutting it anymore. So I thought, although it'll take time to set up a business from scratch, once you have a thriving business, as I saw my dad throughout his life, he always had Hembury. You can sort of dial it up or down in terms of you can put out advertising, you can network more, you can do all these things to bring in an income that is hopefully stable for your family. So it was for that reason. I was a business and technology journalist, and my favourite article was to interview a founder. What I didn't realise was that I wanted to be one. I didn't have the self-awareness.
Maybe the signs working in your favour.
The signs are there.
Because sometimes you don't realise what's set for the future. But then your journey is sort of like comes together by I don't know, by default or by universe.
Or by a Wally.
And then suddenly I was like, this is what I want to do.
How do you choose your candidate? Sorry, come on. How do you choose your candidate?
A candidate as an author? Well, they choose me. They choose us.
How do they know to come to you? Like, obviously you advertise it, like...
Word of mouth, really. I mean, we have the podcast, we have social media, we try to meet people, but it's really our authors who bring other authors because they have a positive experience, and then they have friends who have a manuscript that's finished and no home for the manuscript.
Okay, let's rephrase the question. Who can tell that I can be an author?
Oh, well, that is for the author to decide, I believe.
And is there any signs for them to discover that I can be an author
Yeah.
and I can come see Jessica?
Well, if they have a burning desire to be an author, if
Like, elaborate more, because this is what we want to be sort of tap into.
Yeah.
Unleash the beast.
it takes a huge amount of work to finish a book.
Yeah.
That is a major achievement. You have to carve out so much time and tell your family and your partner to just leave you alone for hundreds of hours. You could be binging something that you love, but no, you're focused on writing your book. So if someone has finished a book, they should be able to publish that book. I believe that is their right.
And this is where you come in.
And this is where we come in. But the confidence does have to come from the author to a degree, that something has happened to them, or they have this imaginary world of, a thriller inside their head that will drive them to complete it. Because I can't help them if they don't complete it.
Yeah.
We do have book coaching, but I can't write the book for them.
So Karma has from experience, she's got an amazing story to share. And I did say to her before the podcast,
Oh, really?
so will she be, obviously from your experience, she can be an ideal candidate, and
Absolutely.
she can. And what they need to do to start writing? Just go start typing and write about journey. Is that how it
It's
works?
as simple and as hard as that.
Because we're trying to make it. We're trying to simplify and ignite that dream within the heart of people.
Like you said,
Yeah.
you didn't know you wanted to be what you are today. So
Yeah, I mean, we do provide book coaching for someone who's right at the start and they, there's something that's happened to them, or they have the seed of an idea. And so I can break down what is a
Okay.
very overwhelming
Yeah.
task as it appears until you break it down into smaller pieces. But it will come down to your priorities in your
priority
life.
and your passion, and if you actually want to do it.
If you can, for the first 30 minutes of your day, every day, just put your alarm clock on, open your laptop and start typing, you'll finish your book.
Yeah.
But if
Depends on your priorities.
months go by, I mean, a lot of people take 10 years to finish their book, and that doesn't matter. But it has to be a continuous thing that you don't give up on.
Yeah, that's like anything, really.
Do you sort of obviously evaluate the story before you publish it to see if is it worth it? How would you sort of make sure the people who are writing stories that they are on the right track and they are bringing meaningful content
Yeah, how
rather
do you
than
pick
just
the winners? Like, have you ever had like a real win
Is
or
there
a
a
surprise
criteria?
win?
Well, we've really flipped it on its head. A traditional publisher will get 1,000 manuscripts over their desk and they'll say, no,
I don't know how they do that.
no. And then one wins the lottery.
Wow.
And I am, yes. I am yet to come across a book that's come to Hembury Books that I haven't thought that should be a book.
So you take the time to make sure everyone's hard-earned time is looked at.
Yeah, we have editors. So the books can go through 2 rounds of editing. But it is... I used to think that writing was a skill that like 0.1% of the population had. That's not true. If you write simply, honestly, and you're vulnerable with your audience and you're not pretentious, you're not exaggerating, it will be a great book. And there will be someone who is interested in your book. So from, we have incredibly niche topics covered in great detail that is absolutely fascinating to all the people who are interested in that. And what has surprised me has been the unbelievable quality of stories coming to Hembury Books. Like, the things people have lived through just takes my breath away.
Yeah.
It takes my breath away. Yesterday, for example, I had a call with a guy who's written a novel called Final Descent. It's like a thriller, aviation thriller. He's a British Airways pilot in Perth. He landed on the tarmac in Japan 3 minutes before an 8.2 magnitude earthquake struck.
Wow.
3 minutes. So he sat on the tarmac, he could see there was like gas cylinders and stuff and water. And he was like, I'm going to have to take off again. Like, he had to balance this and they just locked everything down. So he's put that in his book. I mean, it's just, I said to him, it's stuff you can't make up. Or like the cruelty of families, like absolute cruelty that people treat each other. And these people just leading normal lives, you wouldn't look at them and think, something so shocking has happened to you, because we're all still standing, that comes out in these memoirs, and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, it must be a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, it's amazing. We have another lady who just signed this week who had a minor bicycle accident, went to hospital in South Australia, flesh-eating bacteria.
Oh my God.
Took her entire arm, gone from the neck.
Oh wow.
Now she's doing the London Marathon. She's rebuilt her life and she's publishing her memoir.
very inspirational. I mean,
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I could go on and on and on.
Yeah, that's.
and this is where I feel like it's important, like from today, to sort of help more people realize I have something to share.
Oh, yeah.
So
But you've given them hope.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we can
because
publish your book.
traditionally,
We will love to publish your book.
yeah. So traditionally, publishers Oh yeah,
They'll be saying
most of
no to
notes,
this
everything.
stuff.
'Cause I watched the movie. Hilary Duff was in. I forgot the name of it, but I learned a lot about publishing, and it was a dog eat dog world, like in the publishing.
Because they're commercial. They're
They're
only
commercial.
thinking which book will sell the most
sell.
copies.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many people will actually buy the book? Who wants to read about losing an arm? That is the number one criteria. How many social media followers does she have? And if she doesn't have over 50,000, they're not going to be interested,
Yeah.
regardless of the story.
Yeah.
Which
It's a
is the
shame.
tragedy of that.
Yeah.
Another woman, this is just this week, just conversations this week. She is a really senior board member on incredible organisations, and she's a mother of triplets. So her book is about what having triplets taught her about being a leader and how she managed these two things at once. And what blows me away is people are so humble about these stories. They're like, I don't know, do you think it's good enough? Do you think it should be
I
published?
think it should be
I'm like,
published.
oh my gosh, this has got to be published.
Yeah,
It's amazing. Australians are very humble.
yeah,
Yeah.
very relaxed.
You have an amazing
bunch,
power,
Yeah,
Jessica.
It's so good to be able to-
because of your obviously your service or the platform that you created, you are just giving people a sense of hope and a sense of empowerment and a fame.
I know, it can
A
change
fame.
their
Like
life.
at the end of the day, when you write a book, can you imagine if I'm claiming myself? I'm an author.
Yeah,
That's my book.
it's
Well,
amazing.
if you're an author, I'll be an author, Ollie. We'll do a where is what.
You
I'm
should-
not
But
really
we
sure.
need the
Where is
power of
what we-
Jessica to make it happen.
Yeah. I mean, also, you get to be yourself. You
Yeah.
get, there's another memoir, Through the Shadow, She Became, by Andrea Pantelli. She, again, her mum had a second child and became a paraplegic because of negligence of the doctor. And so from the age of 4, her mum was a paraplegic. She's gone through the most incredible stuff. She currently runs a personal training business in Western Sydney.
Okay.
And she gets to be herself for the first time. And that is amazing. She gets, everyone will know her story. And that kind of satisfaction you can't put a price on.
I meet a lot of people every day of the week, and I feel like now, with getting to know you, Jess, and what you can bring to the table, I feel like there's potential ample of people who can be authors.
Yes.
And honestly, I'm just going to say, look, you need to speak to Jessica to sort of like
Tell your story.
not just tell your story, but believe, yes, you have something to offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she'll be able, obviously, you'll be able to say, yes, I can feel you've got potential, or you've got a wow story.
Yeah.
This is what you need to do
And
to
but
take
you
the next
don't
level.
say no. You kind of hold their hand to the next
No,
step. And the
it
next-
hasn't been an issue.
Can they make a point and come see you initially, like for a
Like a free
initial
video call, yeah.
like an initial consultation to understand first before they commit to anything? Is that something? Is that something
we
you can offer?
always do that. So they just can book in a video call on
Okay.
the website. Tell me about the book. It's a 30-minute video call.
Can they come in person if they are nearby?
Well, yes, we
you
do.
don't mind?
No, I don't mind. We usually do Zoom because it's more efficient.
Okay.
But yesterday we had an author come. He doesn't have the internet, so he comes
That's
to
what
all
I'm saying.
his
So it can be
appointments.
done
Can be
both.
in person.
I
He's
love
being
it.
near Bankstown.
That's amazing.
Well, I'm going to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, so confidence is a big thing for me, like what you do for your authors as well. So I like to encourage people, bring people out of their shell. Like, it's not that scary. Do the scary thing. Do it scared. I emceed an event last week for the first time
With your husband.
with my husband. So it was a gala dinner, you know, and like if you'd said like 5 years ago, Karma, you're going to be an MC one day, I would have been like, no way. I was always comfortable in my little shell, even though
Behind the camera.
behind the camera. But being part of the chamber, because Wally would always give it like, come do photos. I'd see these extravagant events and I felt so insignificant at these events. And I knew I had more to offer. And then I'd see International Women's Day, I was in the back corner and I saw these women so inspiring, like from overseas, you know, second language is English, and if they could do it, I could do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to be on that stage one day.
Yeah, it's
So
one of
get
those
ready,
moments.
Jessica, get ready, please.
No.
She's one of your candidates
I
now.
probably have a lot, yeah. It's
But
what you
I would
do.
also say that there would be a lot of people who would be inspired by your book who right now are going through similar challenges.
Yeah.
Unique
Yeah.
challenges, but
Yeah.
similar.
I
And
bet.
we should be telling these Australian stories. Like, they're very human
Yeah.
stories, because when we share our stories, we become closer to each other.
Yeah.
Instead of holding everything in and feeling ashamed or, you know.
There's a lot of shame. There's a lot of, you know.
But when you put it out there, and like, books are comforting and they're reassuring, and someone else who's really in the tough stuff now will think, I'm going to get there because I read Karma's book and she got there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a lot of challenge.
And the
I face.
feelings that I'm not important, I'm not relevant, I'm not
Yeah.
famous. She's going to listen to my story. That kind of, you know what I mean? There's a lot of if, and who kind of thing. But honestly, meeting people along the way, it's just, I feel like everyone has potential and
Yeah.
wow stories to bring to the table.
Yeah.
Obviously, with your skills, you can just make it, you know.
Yep. I mean, but I would say, like, some people live very ordinary lives and they don't stick their neck out and they don't ever make a splash or a noise. Or
But they have
anything.
a lot to offer.
No, well, that's fine. There are different lives. So authors are special because it's not that I think everyone should be an author or has the drive to be an author. So authors are special because they're entertaining the rest of us, right?
Yeah.
With the courage that it takes to share your story or your creative work. So, and that's fine, because if you had the entire population producing books, we could never read them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do think that you have to have a certain kind of fire in you to become an author.
I always feel this fire, like just show
And you
up
should
online.
act on that then.
Question. Hembury Books blends self-publishing and traditional publishing formats. What do you see as the biggest advantage of hybrid publishing for today's writers?
It is what we have created, I believe, is the best of both worlds. It's the best aspects of self-publishing, which is the author retains all their royalties, their creative control, their intellectual property. So important if you're a business person not to hand that over. Because when you get a traditional publishing deal, you don't pay, but you're paying with your rights.
Okay.
So that's the best part of self-publishing. The best part of traditional publishing is that you have a team of professionals around you. So they take the responsibility for producing it like a really high quality book, inside and out, that is available everywhere in the right formats. And that you have someone to celebrate with. And that as you grow into becoming an author, you have someone there coaching you through that process. Because self-publishing can be lonely and it can be overwhelming, and you still have to pay people for the different. You've got to pay a cover designer, an editor, a typesetter. You've got to work out how to self-publish, and you're doing all that alone. And there's a good community of self-publishing authors, but you've got to choose all those suppliers. And that's hard. And you can get some that are not good quality. They let you down, or the editor might be unpleasant. It becomes a very stressful experience. So hybrid, for me, you have this really personal service that's really enjoyable, creatively fulfilling, because you're in control, you're making every decision. But we're like a wedding planner. So we're like, do you want a gloss cover or a matte cover?
I like that.
So
Do you want this size or that size? You just tell us and we'll make it
And you
happen.
make it happen.
Yeah.
That's just like when you're raising your kids. You can't give them too many options. It's
No.
either Cocoa Pops or Weetabix.
Yes. Yeah.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
But that's good.
We
'cause
narrow
it's
down
your
the choices so
Decision fatigue. Otherwise, they get overwhelmed.
There's so many decisions to make. Can we have like these fortnightly check-ins where we just ask the questions at that part of the journey, and then we settle the cover, and then we move on to the next
Yeah,
step.
that's perfect.
Otherwise, it's just kind of like...
Yeah, so you go step by step. That's amazing. So you wrote your own 2 memoirs. So you've published 2 memoirs. Our Home in Myanmar. How do you pronounce that? Myanmar.
Yes.
And Once Around the Sun. How did your own writing and publishing experience shape the way you support authors now?
Well, I learned so much from self-publishing those books. Like I would have read 20 books on how to self-publish a book, maybe more, because I just became obsessed with it. And I had a chip on my shoulder because I'd been rejected by traditional publishers so many times, like over 100 times.
Wow.
Over the course of years in different countries. And it was just... Eventually I had to give up. So I had this chip on my shoulder. I wanted my book to be indistinguishable from a Penguin paperback. That was my goal. So I got an ex-Penguin cover designer to design my cover. Those kinds of things. Loved it. Fell in love with the whole publishing thing. This must have been latent in me, you know, as a book-loving person. But I made mistakes. For example, the size of my first book, it's a small book. And you can't change it. I had no idea. Once you choose the dimensions of your book, you'd have to go and republish it. You'd lose all your reviews. You'd get a new ISBN. Those are things that until you go through the process...
It's exhausting.
Yeah, you wouldn't know. And we're learning with every book because there's just... And I love it. I love, you know, deepening the knowledge. You know, children's books, full colour books, history books, like they all have their needs and their quirks. So that experience, it gives me empathy because I went from not being an author but dreaming of it, and I know how significant that is when it is your life's journey. And because when I was getting the rejections, you know, I cried a few times because I was like, the gates are closed.
Wow.
In my life, I'm not going to get to say that I'm an author. So I know how important it is. And really, though, I do understand that I would have loved to have had someone to talk to and someone who was excited for me. That's why I wanted a publisher.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to give up my rights anyway.
Yeah, no one does say.
No, you don't want to be told what to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's from you. It's within you.
Yeah, the author knows best for their book.
Yeah, 100%. Who's your youngest? Or do you have the age even? You
Yeah,
don't
sure.
Say the name, but
Take a guess.
10?
Yeah.
10 years old.
Wow.
So Lucas Ocean Gallagher is 10 and he's written a book called The Brilliant Brain Club. So he was diagnosed with ADHD and he, up to that point, had struggled at school a lot.
Yeah.
And he felt difficulty around how that would be perceived, but he's come out of that the other side to the point now where he's part of the Brilliant Brain Club.
That's awesome.
So he's written a book, and our second oldest author is 13, and she is Maya Ahmed, and she's written a sci-fi novel called Operation Rad. She's been on TV and stuff.
Wow,
it's been amazing.
that's amazing.
And our oldest author is 91.
Wow.
So it goes 10 to 91.
Wow.
Let's talk about storytelling. In your podcast and work with authors, what's the most common challenge you see first-time authors face, and how do you help them get past it?
It's the self-belief. It's the overcoming imposter syndrome. That, is this book worthwhile? Should I tell my friends and family about this? And it's like, look, we will tell your friends and family. We'll put it on our social media. And then you see this outpouring of love, which is so beautiful. But it's something that we all struggle with. And it can be crippling. It can be so, you sort of want to change your mind, but then you're on the train and you can't get off. And it goes up and down. But we really try to talk authors through that by saying, like, your book is amazing. And when books come out, they often take on a life of their own.
Wow.
So you hear from strangers, you have media interest, you have someone writing to you saying, like, your book has helped me so much, which is just the best feeling.
Yeah.
But until you kind of give it to the world, you can't possibly know the reaction. So there's a lot of nerves. Will I be judged? Will people still like me? Those kinds of things.
Well, they're the same with social media as well.
Yeah, there's a degree of that. But like with a book, it's a permanent
It's right there.
public thing.
You can't edit it or delete it.
No, which is part of the beauty because you have to stand by your words.
Yeah.
But it can be frightening for people. And so I completely understand that. Everyone has it to different degrees. And I would say if you don't, you're probably walking around like a bit too confident. Like the humility of being an artist is endearing.
Yeah.
And so we just say, just sit through it. You're going to get some early reviews. It's going to be great. And then, they proceed anyway, but it can be frightening. So, and especially at the start, when I'm hearing these incredible stories and the person is saying, but should I publish it? And I'm like, oh my gosh, you should publish it.
And this is where you come in to put extra confidence in them.
Yeah. Have you had a really good story and then someone wanted to back out last minute? Or
Yeah, I did. I had a memoir called Thank You Burnout, which I was reading on the way, listening on the way, and she didn't want to publish. She said, I can't. It's too personal. I said, well, just pause for a month or two. And she did, and she went back and she worked a lot more on it, and now she's so proud of it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
you let them.
But often people drop off as well. Like they'll book in the call, we'll talk about it. I don't know whether it's, partly budget or partly fear, but this is again why authors who execute, they're special people.
Yeah.
And they deserve like a round of applause,
Yeah,
I think.
of course. That's amazing.
Yeah.
In your podcast and work with authors, what's the most common challenges you see first-time authors face and how do you help them get past it?
We've done that.
That's the...
Oh, we've done that?
Yeah,
Okay.
the mindset one.
Sorry, darlings. Let's cut that out. Okay. So your Hembury book... am I saying that right?
Hembury, yeah.
Hembury. Your Hembury Books podcast has featured dozens of guests sharing publishing and writing tips. How do you choose topics and guests, and what do you hope listeners take away from the show?
In the beginning, I started the podcast because I knew I would miss journalism. I loved being in journalism. So it gives me the chance to still interview people.
Nice.
And it was also a fast track to learning about publishing. So instead of saying, oh, can I pick your brain? Can I buy you a coffee or something? Which
Let's go on a
busy
podcast.
people will say no to. I was able to invite successful people in the industry to come
amazing.
on and offer them some value in terms of
Thinking
I'll
outside
share
the
it.
box. I love that.
Yeah, and then it became, well, it's always been about learning. And I think marketing through learning is the best form of marketing because there's really nothing pushy about it. If I'm interviewing successful indie hybrid authors, then I'm showing our authors that it can be done and this is how you do it. And I get to learn from them. And so then if they tell me how they connected Shopify to their TikTok account and, to make their sales go like that, well, we can implement that with our authors.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's amazing.
There's also a lot of, there was, one author, her publisher closed down. Her book came out and she got the email just before saying, sorry, we're closing down. And she was like,
Oh my God.
heartbroken after years. So what do you do? And I know this is happening a lot. There's publishers closing down. So I feel like there's an audience who will be in a similar situation. She ended up publishing with us.
Yeah.
It's a good news story.
So something like that would be quicker to publish because it's already done.
No, it's actually really complicated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is. And it's ongoing. Like there's a real cascade of effects when this happens. And so I want to be across everything that's happening in the publishing industry. And so this allows me to do that. And just, the power of networking. I got to meet a guy who worked on James Clear's Atomic Habits. I mean, he worked with James Clear. Like that's just amazing. And so the journalist in me is just like curious about what was that like.
Amazing.
Talk about the power of networking. Do you have any books about the art of networking?
I think I've heard a title.
There's a book called Who.
Who as in WHO?
Yeah, but that is that's more, I think, recruitment as well. But that's on my to-do list. But the power of networking,
I'm sure there is one.
yeah, there would.
I've seen, but I'm talking from an art perspective because networking is an art as well.
Yeah,
And
there.
I'm just wondering if you come across something similar about the art of negotiation, art of networking. The
I
art
love negotiation. Don't split the profit. Don't split the difference.
Okay.
Of course.
So there's a book about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's negotiation. I mean, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie is the classic.
You must have a rich library.
I have a Kindle, and at night I read business books. So at the moment I'm reading $100 million leads, and I'll just read business books. I just love business books.
Yeah.
And in the morning I read my clients' unpublished manuscripts, which I listen to on Speechify.
Nice. Wow.
Can you share a particular memorable moment or story from your time working with an author? Something that highlights the impact publishing has had on them. For example, the release of Holly's Hell and its author's journey.
Yeah. So Holly's Hell is an amazing one. There's another one I want to talk about as well. Holly got a 31-year sentence in Thailand when she was 29 for heroin. And she served 7 years of that sentence before getting it commuted and doing another 5
To Australia.
in Australia. But she gave up heroin 10 months into that sentence in a Bangkok prison. That is the definition of hell, with no rehab, because she woke up in her cell one morning, had that epiphany, what have I done to my life? And she was done in that moment, which is just her. If you can read Holly's Hell, it is such an extraordinary memoir. More recently, because that was the first book I ever published. So I was like, I think there's a lot of books out there that need to be published. When that's the first book you get, you're like, there's just so many untold stories in Australia. That is how I see it. There is so much incredible storytelling that we need to be publishing. You know what I mean? But very recently, like 2 weeks ago, we have an author called Karen Hamilton who lives in Penrith. When she was 19, she lived in the UK with serial killers, and she did not know. Britain's worst serial killers, Fred and Rose West. Absolutely the most despicable people you'll ever come across in your life. They had lodgers in their house. So this was 50 years ago. And another woman published her book who was also a lodger, an Irish woman, still living in Gloucester. And I said, would you like to come on the Hembury Books podcast, both of you, and be reunited after 47 years? So we turned on the cameras and they were sitting there like, I remember you. I remember talking to you in conversations and stuff. And they both escaped death with these.
Unbelievable.
And now they're talking every day. They have this incredible connection. They want to write a book together, and that has improved their lives. Something so shocking, the trauma does not ever leave you when something like this happens. So 47 years later, you can't get it out of your mind. You've got to publish a book. It is still like they have suffered nightmares for decades.
You can create a movie out of that.
Yeah.
It's our plan, Wally. That is our plan.
Because just listening to your stories now and the ideas, and I'm trying to picture in my mind
both Holly's
how many
Hell
movies
and Cromwell
can
Street.
be created from those stories.
Yeah, and if anyone watching has
Lord of the Rings,
connections in the
Harry Potter.
Yeah, I mean,
They all came
this
from a
is
story.
True. You know, this is
But what
true.
I'm saying, this is
I
like
know.
more relatable, and then there's a more impact.
Yeah. So what we want to do is have these adapted into film, and so and to be involved in that. So if you know anyone in the film industry, because that's what we're actively trying to do,
Okay.
is because these stories should have an even bigger audience. You know what I mean? So that was special for me. That's the power and the magic of books. If both those women had not come forward and been brave enough to publish their books, they would not have been reunited.
Karma?
Wow, I'm just
8.
yeah. So for someone who's passionate about writing but unsure whether to pursue traditional self or hybrid publishing, what would your advice be based on trends you're seeing in the industry today?
I'm passionate about hybrid. I cannot hide the fact that I love hybrid because it's the best of both worlds. And a lot of very savvy business people recognise that. and do not pitch to traditional publishers. They respect the process of publishing, that they also don't embark on self-publishing, because that is a minefield, of errors to make, and the time they've got better stuff to do, than learn how to publish a book.
Yeah.
They want to focus on their businesses and write their books. If you're really like, you want to have a career as an author and publisher, then self-publishing is fun, but again, it will take up a big chunk of your time that you might prefer to spend writing. So if you are happy to invest in your books and you see that as part of your professional investment, then for me, that's the best way to do it, because you're guaranteed to have a really high quality book, to have the support of professionals, our network and their network, and to get the best opportunities. Because we also have Hembury Publicity. So our authors can do 6-week or 12-week campaigns where we get them in front of the media, speaking engagements and things like that. And to do that on your own,
It's hard.
it's hard.
know where to
And mentally,
start.
it's hard to push yourself
You need the right
out.
mentor, and this is where you come in with your skills and your
And our database of contacts.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Carla,
I'm
any final
just
message?
mind blown to that this morning.
Obviously, you're inspired.
I'm very inspired. Well, for my daughter as well. She loves creative writing.
Does she?
Loves it. So how does someone like for my daughter tap into that?
How old is your daughter?
She's 14. She has a
Amazing.
Kindle, so I have to stop her from reading because she goes loopy after a while.
Really?
Because she leaves it too late. Like she reads until I'm like, you need to sleep. So it's happened where like every day, and then she just started going all loopy. I'm like, we need to sleep tonight.
Wow. Well, that's a passionate reader.
Yeah.
And does she love to write?
She loves creative writing, like writing her own thing.
Stories
Like
and-
one day she just made up a scenario in her head. My mum jumps out of bed, twirls around and does this, and then she waddles up, flies down the stairs. I don't know what she said, but I'm like, oh, I need her to do a voiceover for me.
She should.
Yeah.
Well, she can publish a book with Hembury Books if you back her.
I back her, but like, is there workshops or something that kids can do?
We're going to host a workshop at Bankstown.
Yes, tell me. I'll sign up already.
Let me know so we can help promote it, please.
That would be terrific. We're going to do some self-publishing workshops for people who would like to learn how to do it.
Yes.
We could potentially also do writing workshops as
Yeah.
well. We're hosting Nightmare on Cromwell Street, The Serial Killers. That's being launched at Bankstown Library.
Okay.
Because she's a Penrith author. So for your daughter, if she would like to complete a story that really maintains her interest, that's step one.
Yeah.
Is what would she like to write about? We can publish it.
Yeah.
So, whether it be she could do an early reader style,
Yeah.
which is like she could do a picture book. She could do a picture book.
So from a showcasing perspective, we have our Youth Expo coming up on May the 13th at Western Sydney University. Would that be ideal for you to be at the Youth Expo?
Yeah, we would love to.
To show, to be part of the...
I think it'd be
Yeah, we could bring
ideal.
Maya Ahmed, our incredible
Okay,
author.
lock it in, because I think just listening to Karma, her daughter is a potential candidate. I'll call her candidate.
Oh, yeah, she'll definitely
or
be a
author.
writer.
So
Prospective
I'm
author.
sure a lot of students out there, they may discover I might have something to share. And being you at the front,
Yep.
they'll be encouraged to come and ask questions, and
Absolutely.
then that could be the
I
eye
love
opener.
books for kids by kids. Instead of adults saying this is how you should live your life and
No.
finish your homework and
I
eat
like to
your
see their
veggies.
perspective.
Books by kids, like Maya's book is so cool because it's free of all that. It's just really entertaining and edgy.
Yeah.
We often underestimate how edgy
Yeah.
kids are when they get to tell their own stories. So that to me is really important. And I would love, and I don't know any other business that is doing it. And Maya's, she's like a serious author. She'd already written 2 novellas before.
No, wow.
She finished her 40,000 word sci-fi novel. She's going to be a novelist.
Oh, yeah.
So let's get her started now, and her parents back her.
Yeah.
And she flew to Melbourne to go on Ticker TV. Her dad sent me a video. They flew with Qantas. When the air hostess saw that this girl had written this book, when they landed, she said, "Well done to my Ahmed, who's appearing on TV," in front of everyone.
Wow.
And everyone applauded her. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
Jessica, any final message?
Come and publish your book. Like, just publish your
Yeah.
book. Don't, let's take that conversation and just put it to the side.
Yeah.
Swing into action so that you can start to live your life as an author, because life is better as an author. It's an enriched life. You get to meet people who have gone through the same things as you, who want to be like you, people you would love to meet. It's the best kind of calling card. It's so impressive. Forevermore. No one can take that away from you.
Yeah.
You're an author. And so just don't wait. Like, just come and do it.
You're
We can
never too
publish
old
in
or too
12
young.
weeks. So if you've finished a book, in 3 months from now, you can be published at your launch.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Karma, final message?
I'm just very inspired today. You've
You should get in touch.
yeah, I'll definitely get my daughter. Well, if she's maybe get a message from you, I'll probably record you saying something to her. There is a genre that she likes writing, but I can't remember the name of it.
Okay.
But it's some word, I don't know. But yeah, thank you for coming and opening my mind today. And it's something I can help my daughter with her career.
Yeah, no, I would
Potential
love to.
career.
What's her name?
Isabella.
I'd love to meet her.
Yeah, and she has blue eyes just like you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time this morning, Jess.
Thanks, Wally.
Karma,
Thanks
thank you for
having me
hosting
on.
us again.
Of course.
You've been so supportive to Hembury Books, incredibly
It's a
supportive.
pleasure.
Yeah.
We are a pillar of support, and we are very proud of the people that we see every day of the week and inspired by them. And again, you are one. Join us, reach out to Jessica and discover the new world.
Yes, thank you for listening, and please don't forget to subscribe and find out where Wally.
Thank you for listening to the CBCC Voice Business Unbox podcast. I am your host, Karma Jamanos, and Wally Mahana from the Canterbury Bankstown Chamber of Commerce. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode.